Alright guys, today we're looking at how to simplify radical expressions. Remember, a radical expression or a radical is something that has a square root symbol, and an expression means that we don't have an equal sign. We're not trying to solve for anything. At the end of this, I'm not going to say, x equals 12 or anything like that. There are no variables, there's nothing to solve for. All we're trying to do is take what we have here and simplify it, break it down, reduce it as much as we possibly can. That's our goal. So before we get started, remember radicals need to be simplified as much as possible. So when you look at what we have right here, which is negative square root of 2 minus 3 square roots of 8, what you're looking at is what's inside each radical. And if those numbers are the same, you can combine like terms. If they're not, you can't. So you want to kind of think of these as variables, like the square root of x and the square root of y, right? Because they're different numbers, these are different letters. I can't put these together. But if I had the square root of x plus the square root of x, well, how many, pardon me, how many square roots of x do I have? Well, I have 2, so this would be 2 square roots of x. So our goal is to try and break each of these radicals down as much as possible so that we have the same number inside of them, and then we can put them together. So if I look at the square root of 2, I can't take the square root of 2, I can't reduce it, I can't do anything. So my best bet is to ignore this for now, and let's look at the square root of 8. The square root of 8, remember, I can break 8 down. I'll just write it here. I can break 8 down as 2 times 4. And I know I can take the square root of 4, so I'm going to use this and I'm going to plug it in here instead of 8. Okay? So all I'm going to do is rewrite what I have. I have negative square root of 2 minus 3 times the square root of 2 times 4. And I already said that the square root of 4 is 2, right? This is going to become 2, and when it does become 2, I need to take it out of the radical and put it out front. So this is going to become negative square root of 2 minus 3 times the square root of 4, which is 2, times the square root of 2. The square root of 4 becomes 2, becomes 2, so I had to take the 4 out of the radical and put it out in front. That's where you get the 2, okay? So now, all I have to do is simplify this. I have negative square root of 2 minus 3 times 2 is 6, square root of 2. In front of the first square root of 2, there's just a negative sign. But remember, there's always an invisible 1. And when you're putting these together, again, you want to think of it as negative 1x minus 6x. How many x's do I have? I have negative 1 and negative 6, so that's negative 7x. Same deal here. How many square roots of 2 do I have? I have negative 1 minus 6. Again, that's negative 7 square roots of 2. In example 2, I have 2 square roots of 45 minus the square root of 3 minus 2 square roots of 3. Now, if you want, since these are already the same, these square roots of 3, since you have 3 in the radical for both, you can go ahead and just combine them. It'll make it a little nicer to look at. So you have 2 square roots of 45, and then we're going to just combine this right here. So I have negative square root of 3 minus 2 square roots of 3. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. So I have negative 3 square roots of 3. Remember, these guys don't change, you just bring them down. And all we're concerned about is adding negative 2 and negative 1. Okay. So, now I'm working with 2 square roots of 45 minus 3 times the square root of 3. I need to break down the square root of 45 as best I can, okay? So, the square root of 45. "45 can be broken down as 9 times 5. And I can take the square root of 9, so let's start with that. So I have 2 times the square root of 9 times 5 minus 3 square roots of 3. Well, like I said before, the square root of 9 is 3. So I'm going to take the square root of 9, I'm going to turn it into 3, I'm going to put the 3 out in front of the 2. So I have 3 times 2 times the square root of 5 minus 3 square roots of 3. Now all we have to do is multiply 3 and 2, that's 6 times the square root of 5 minus 3 square roots of 3. Now if you notice right here, the square root of 5 and the square root of 3, obviously those are different numbers, and I can't reduce 5 or 3 in any way, so this means I can't put these together. But what I can do is box it up and call it a day, because we can't simplify, so this is our answer. In example 3, okay, the square root of 45 plus the square root of 2 plus the square root of 18 plus the square root of 2. Well, we have 2 square roots of 2, so let's go ahead and write that down. The square root of 45 plus the square root of 18 plus 2 square roots of 2, because I highlighted 2 of these, so I need to write that I have 2 of them. Okay? So, now what we're going to do is focus on, we'll just do this one at a time. We'll focus on the square root of 45. So the square root of 45, if we take 45 and we break it apart, we have 9 times 5. So I have the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. If I take the square root of 18, 18 can be broken down into 9 and 2, so I would have plus the square root of 9 and the square root of 5, or not 5, 2. Plus 2 square roots of 2, which didn't change from up here. We just brought it down. So now I'm going to reduce the square root of 9 in both of these cases is going to become 3. So I have 3 square roots of 5 plus 3 square roots of 2 plus 2 square roots of 2. I'm going to go ahead and combine these two pieces. So since I have 3 square roots of 2 and 2 square roots of 2, if I combine them, I have 5 square roots of 2. Now again, square root of 5 and square root of 2 cannot be reduced. And since they can't be reduced, I know I have reached my answer. This is as simplified as it's going to get. 3 square roots of 5 plus 5 square roots of 2. Alright guys, that was adding and subtracting radical expressions. Have a great day.